committee in order. 401. Approval of the minutes. Last week's meeting.
I'll make a motion to approve the minutes.
You have a second? All in favor?
Aye.
Minutes are approved. Public comment presentations. New business. Skip. Old business.
No business.
Committee assignments. Commissioner Melena. We're going to move right into the assignments.
Yes, so commissioners,
Oh, yeah, I'll do
you might remember at the last meeting that we had a couple of, a new committee created, and so we needed to assign some members to that at this meeting. We put it off for this meeting. And that's, we also have provided you a list of the existing committees, a description of the Urban Forest Committee, review and approve their tasks, and then assigning committee members to the Urban Forest Committee. So those are the 3 steps we need to do under 7.
So do we want to approve all the committees again, or
No, just the urban forest,
just the 3?
which is busy,
Memorandum. There we go.
and we're approving that.
Okay, we're going to approve the Urban Forest Committee. All in favor? All opposed?
Thank you. So now, who would like to be on that committee?
Us too, since we've been on it.
The leftover tree, basically, so.
Yes, it is. Yeah. So, I'm sorry, I'm looking through my packet here trying to find that page.
So, Mr. Commissioner Carey? And Beck.
Yeah.
All in favor?
I think it's just you.
You don't need a motion, you can just appoint.
Okay, well, we appoint both of you to the committee.
You have the power, Commissioner Melena.
All right,
Take it.
your committee, huh? You're on the Urban Forest Committee. Congratulations. That's the only committee there?
Yeah.
Yeah, and if you want to look at the committee list, make sure we didn't make any errors on the assignments. You can take a look at the committee list the way it's in your packet.
Yeah.
And I'm sure Brittany didn't make any errors, but just in case you want to take a look at it. Also, if you have any questions on the committees, this would be a good time to ask them from staff, and we can kind of fill you in on them. Yes.
For play,
Yes.
is it just one commissioner that's assigned to?
Right. The play bylaws call for 1 commissioner, and that appointment is up each year.
Okay.
So next year we'll be looking for another commissioner, or Commissioner Lee, I think, is the appointee for this year, and he can extend if he wishes to.
Moving on. Director of Management Staff. Budget and Human Resources updates.
Good evening, Commissioners. In your packets, you will see in color 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 documents that I would like to review. So the first document is shows just the overall of where we are at the end of February. It doesn't really tell the real story, which we'll get into on the second page. But in terms of this particular story, we are under budget by 8%. In terms of the discretionary budget that we actually have to spend, at the end of February, we are about on par. I also think that's a bit misleading because there are a lot of programs that are going to start up in the spring and at the beginning of the summer that haven't potentially been accounted for yet. And so it still paints a little bit of a, I don't want to use the word bleak, I don't know what other word to use, challenging picture for the goals that we're trying to achieve as a department, and which also line up with the council goals. And then something that, we'll skip page 3, go to page 4, Commissioner Lopez had asked to see at our prior meeting was, what do our revenues look like? And that's my favorite page, is the revenues. If you look at where we are today, our estimated revenue for the whole fiscal year is just under $800,000. As of the end of February, we've almost doubled that, and we're projected to hit about almost 300% revenue of what we had estimated at the beginning of the fiscal year.
And a lot of those estimates, were COVID related. We, at that time when we did the budget, weren't really sure where we were going to end up with COVID, whether it was going to continue, being an impact to our programs. So the revenue that's shown in the revenue column was conservative, purposely conservative, so that we could give the city budgeters some realistic numbers. So and this is across the board. At my meeting this morning with city manager and the other department directors, there was a comment made that overall the city budget is doing very well, given even the impacts that we had from COVID. So generally speaking, the budget's in pretty good shape.
I think it also shows that the citizens and residents of Santa Maria are wanting to get out again and participate in programs and visit our parks and our swimming pool. Anybody have any questions related to the budget pages I presented? Commissioner Lee?
I'm just curious. Looks like we're doing pretty well with the cell phone. Excuse my language, my mouth had more surgery. I know some facilities like baseball fields, you have signage. What potential, and we don't have to answer it today, but I'd like to see what potential revenue the department can recommend.
So that's a good question, Commissioner Lee, because since you'll be moving to the Play Board as the Commission's representative, Play has the contract for marketing and collecting the funds from any, basically any advertising, any field rental, signage, any of those kinds of things, go back to Play. So that's something that the Play Board has, from time to time taken the opportunity to put a package together, send it out to our business community and offer, signage in our ball fields, or signage in our gymnasiums at the swimming pool. I will tell you that hasn't been a major effort over the last couple of years, but certainly something that the board could look at again. We've really focused more on working with the recreation staff and doing more of the special event fundraisers, softball tournaments, pickleball, those kinds of things, as opposed to doing the marketing side. But that's an opportunity that we haven't taken advantage of. So, and which reminds me again, Commissioner Lee, so the board meeting for Play will be the last Monday of this month at noon at the office. So, Brittany, if you'll remind me and remind yourself to send out board meeting notices. Dr. Miller asked me about that meeting, and it is coming up. So it'll be the last Monday of the month in March at noon at the rec office. Anybody's welcome. If you want to come, just let us know so we'll have lunch for you.
I'd just like to make a note that under the aquatics revenue, a portion of that revenue is from our contract with the school district. So we will be seeing that decrease over the course of this year as we're slowly backing out of that contract to cover their after-school programs. We'll still most likely cover their PE programs during the day, but their coaches are getting certified to be lifeguards for the after-school sports programs. So that does include that.
Thank you. Page 5, something I presented last time, just to give an overview of what our utilities look like. The situation. Gas being the higher one, we're projecting to hit about 190%. A lot of that's associated with the heating of the swimming pool. Any questions on page 5? All right, and then just a recruitments and hiring update on page 3. A lot of action. In fact, since I prepared this report on March 10th, there's been some more movement, and there's a lot going on. We have positions that are open. I have included notes in the status for some of them where I'm referring to potential restructuring. There's an opportunity to potentially rework the structure of the organization, and so we're looking at strategically doing that so we can better serve the needs of the department and also the community. Any questions on anything I presented, commissioners?
Are you transitioning, or are you looking for transitioning to more full-time employees, and you do have part-time employees? Because I looked at that binder that I was given, and it looks like you have, I think it was a very large number of part-time employees. Why not convert to full-time employees, and then that helps retain your employees and keep them longer?
Yes, and that's part of the strategy that we've been approaching and working with our Human Resources Department on is what can we do to attract quality candidates? What can we do to not just hire them, but retain them as well? And a theme amongst some of those part-time employees who have left city employment has been, I need full-time. And
Right.
so that's part of the ongoing conversations and strategic planning is to see what can we do to turn that list that you referred to into something that is more sustainable in terms of retaining those quality candidates, and also potentially becoming a choice employer where we are offering full-time employment, full-time benefits, and all the perks that come with being a full-time worker. So that is something that is it's an active conversation. Thank you.
I highly support full-time career employees for retention and quality. However, isn't it true that if you're a part-time employee, the department doesn't have to pay certain costs, such as health benefits, et cetera?
So there are two types of part-time employees. There's those who work 32 hours a week, and we do pay benefits, health benefits, and other retirement benefits. The other part-time classification is considered limited service, where they work up to about 980 hours of a fiscal year, and that's pretty much an hourly rate. They don't get the retirement benefits and any other benefits that are associated with the 32-hour and the full-time employment.
So the conversion to career employees, you're looking at the 32-hour people?
Both.
Both.
Yeah. Yeah, and it's not necessarily converting a 19-hour to a 40-hour employee. It could be a case of we have 5 19-hour limited service positions that are funded. Let's say they cost $80,000 for those 5 positions. Well, what can we do with that $80,000 to get a full-time position? And maybe we can get 2 full-time positions out of that $80,000. And so that's more how we're approaching it versus just seeing how can we convert to 19 a week to a 40 a week.
Can I add something, Commissioner Lee? So I think, in my opinion, if the cost associated with employees leaving is the same as far as time spent to train employees, time spent to, exit strategies as far as them leaving, converting those part-time employees to full-time employees, if they want to, for longevity, we can retain them, and at the same token, they get, paid full benefits. I think the 32-hour employees are partial benefits, correct? They're not at 100%, just like the hours.
They're about 75%.
75%, so, converting them will keep them working, instead of them leaving to find other jobs that will offer them, full benefits. So, in the long run, converting them will look like it may cost more for the recs and parks, but I think it will save them a lot more than constantly having to hire employees and going through the hiring process and hoping for them to stay, so.
Sure. And I also think it would appeal to the higher quality worker that will come work in a 40-hour position. And so we might be paying a little bit more, but maybe working more efficiently with a higher quality worker.
I agree with everything you're saying. And I hope that the department will move in that direction. However, I want to emphasize the importance of having a paraprofessional category where we're always recruiting young people from the community to be involved and potentially develop their management, organization, leadership skills.
Again, thank you, Commissioner Lee. I think that's kind of how we look at it, in that in our 19-hour-a-week positions, typically we're looking to be the employee's perhaps first-time employer. So we're taking an opportunity to take young people, train them in the workforce, teach them how to, move forward in a career, regardless if it's a recreation career or parks career, to kind of give them the basis of a good employer to start with. And if they choose to go away to college and we've had this happen in the past, seek a degree in recreation or go over to Hancock and, participate in the Hancock rec programs that they have, it does open up that opportunity to have them come back and work in the summer and work 19 hours a week over summer. But I think the critical positions that we have are the ones that we're most concerned about. I don't ever see us getting away from part-time staff. It's kind of the nature of the beast that we have. But I think there are ways to look at those positions and the opportunities that we offer them differently. I think that's kind of what we're going to be looking at. Commissioner Melena, if I can add something to the committee report just real quickly, and that is that what I'd like to do is each of you are assigned to a committee, and what I'd like to do is probably over the month of April, set up meetings for you to come in and kind of get briefed on what's going on in your committee. So, for example, the budget committee is right on top. So Commissioner Batterson and Commissioner Lopez, we'd set up a time for you to come in and meet with Neville and I and kind of go over the budget. We are approaching the mid-year budget right now, so we'll be submitting our request to City Manager's Office and Finance to look at adjustments for the second half of this fiscal year, which is the 23-24 budget. And there are some significant items in there, and personnel is one of them that we'll be looking at, and also bridging some of the gaps that Neville has mentioned in the finance report that need to be bridged. We'll be addressing some of those items. The rest of the projects committees will meet. The Park Development Committee, again, there's a lot of capital projects going on right now, so we'd like to try to get you in, brief you on those, bring you up to speed on where they are today. Community partnerships is a little bit slower. There's really not a lot going on right now. One of the things that is happening, however, is the airport district has expressed an interest in selling the Pioneer Park parcel to the city. Right now, we have a lease. And so we've handed that off to the city council has a regular meeting with the airport board. We've handed that off to the assistant city manager to talk to the airport board at their next meeting and seeing what's going on there. But I've had a couple of meetings with the airport manager, or the prior airport manager, and with a couple of board members to talk about the possibilities. And not only would it be the 11 acres of Pioneer Park, but it would be the remaining 7.5 acres to the south. So we would be contiguous to Union Valley Parkway. So it'd be that whole area basically to the south of the park. So it'd give us a total of about 20 acres on the south side of town. For perspective purposes, that's about half the size of Presker Park. Presker is about 40 acres, so, significant area. We don't know how that's going to go yet, but still, it just kind of something that the partnership committee would probably be looking at. Let's see. I mentioned the play board, the art committee, again, Commissioner Batterson, Commissioner Carey, something that we'll set up, something with Dennis to have that meeting, talk about the arts and where we are with those. And then public relations, we have, I'm going to draw a blank. Your staff members, Jasmine? Yeah. Jasmine Gonzalez was the staff member that does our marketing, social media, public relations, those kinds of things. Coming in, meeting her, and kind of finding out what the department is doing as far as marketing goes. Commissioner Carey serves as on the downtown specific plan. She's continuing in that role. A lot of stuff happening downtown. Planning Commission tomorrow night, I'll be there. No, pardon me. Planning Commission last month, I was there for their review of the Heritage Walk lofts, which is the conversion of the Fallas to apartments. Extremely unique project, I think, for Santa Maria, a great anchor for the downtown future. Thank you, Dennis, or Casey. So it's that square in the middle, kind of the diamond shaped is the Fallas store. And essentially what they're talking about doing is creating that to, I want to say it's 100 or so studio apartments, 140? 104, yeah, and with a roof garden, 2 stories, an atrium in the middle. So what you see there is not what it's going to look like. Very a modern exterior, maybe setting the pace for what downtown might look like in the future. But yeah, it's going to be a pretty neat project as it moves forward.
Modern Mediterranean.
Yeah, sure. Modern Santa Maria, how's that? So there's things happening downtown. Commissioner Carey will keep us abreast of that. And then the Landmark Advisory Committee, again, Commissioner Batterson, Commissioner Carey, they have their regular quarterly meetings set, and we'll be talking about things that are of impact to the landmarks in the city. So anyway, we'll be having meetings.
Do we have any more questions for the budget?
Just a comment, just to dovetail off of what Alex has talked about. The area by Santa Maria Way, I don't know if you've noticed a huge building, low-income building that's developed. And then across the street from there, they're going to put a new DMV. There's a lot of building over there.
Yeah.
There's a lot of development.
Yeah, Casey's called that up on the screen too. So that little triangle shaped is, what's the name of that project, Scott?
Santa Maria Seniors, and they just started development review to put a second building up on that.
Yeah,
Correct.
so it's a 4-story building on to the left of the screen there where the old office restaurant used to be. And then the rest of the development will head off to the right of that triangle. And then the parcel that Commissioner Lee is talking about for the DMV is the parcel directly across Miller Street. It's kind of the tip of that parcel there will be the DMV, and then behind it is another multifamily residential project that has already moved through planning, right? I believe they already have all their yeah. So that area will, you're going to drop probably 250, 300 units in that area in the next 5 years. So parks like Marimani and Rodenberger right there, going to be deeply impacted. None of these projects are moving forward with any significant recreational improvements or park improvements on their properties, small ones, community center, swimming pool, those kinds of things. But as far as open space goes, there's really not a lot planned for those. So, yeah.
So my point in bringing that up is, I know at one time we had a conversation. I commend the city of Santa Maria and the department for what's already developed in terms of recreation parks. However, if you consider Abel Maldonado Center, and since that time, nothing really has developed, especially on the southern end.
Mm-hmm.
And if I recall correctly, you mentioned that there was something that was developed, supposed to be developed by Rotary, a recreation center.
Yes.
So I think we need to, at some point, consider putting together that long-range development plan so that everyone can really follow what we're hoping to complete. Even if it can't be done in the near future, at least it's in sight. And I can't let us forget about that important feature. We need to have a systematic approach to how we're going to develop recreation and parks in Santa Maria. Thank you.
Any questions for our budget, Mr. Smeda? We're good. Moving on to noteworthy activities, Mr. Smithman.
Good afternoon, Commissioners. In your packet is our list of noteworthy activities. Again, busy as always, trying to keep up with the community as much as we can and the interest and wants. We will be looking at doing our leisure needs assessment coming up this summer, which will be a great refresher after COVID. But we do feel like we're hitting pretty close to the mark with the attendance that we're getting. I'm excited. I did pass out some goodies today for our s'more program. I want to tell you that we have 100 individuals that are all parts of families going up to Cambria this weekend. I'm going to blank on the camp name now all of a sudden, but Camp Ocean Pines for family camp. So we're excited to be able to offer that through the grant that we received to have outdoor education experiences spread equitably throughout our community. And so that's called the s'more program, the Santa Maria Outdoor Recreation Experience. We also, this is the first weekend we're going to be hosting family camp up there, and Camp Ocean Pines has done a great job in getting ready for us. We booked 100 people within a week. So we know it's a want and a need. We're going to be able to provide transportation for about 2/3 of those people. A third of those people are going to drive themselves. Camp starts on Friday and it ends on Sunday. It's kind of a throwback for me. Sorry, it's really exciting that they are going to be able to do traditional camp activities and some newer camp activities because we didn't get to throw hatchets at the camp I went to, but they will get that opportunity. Arts and crafts, archery, and it's just a really great way for these families to reconnect and to do fun activities together and meet new families. This family camp is exclusive to Santa Maria, and we'll continue to do these through the course of the grant funding cycle. And it's just a great way that, hopefully we can get people to develop just not only an appreciation for being out in nature, but meet their neighbors and really develop those relationships and hopefully they continue on in the program. So we've done horseback riding so far. We're about to go whale watching now with family camp. We have 200 kids going to a resident camp this summer, also at Camp Ocean Pines to take part in those activities. So I wanted to share with you a little bit about s'more. And at this time, it's a little bit of an awkward time, but I'd like to introduce Stephanie Salcedo. Today is her second day with us. She is our new recreation supervisor, filling in the place of Cindy Hoskins. Stephanie most likely will oversee youth and family programs, special events, and a couple little ancillary duties, but we're really excited to have Stephanie, and she has a great experience in recreation coming from the YMCA, and she's ready to hit the ground running. I know she read all 45 pages of the grant today, and the expectations that are going to take place. So again, a great program where we're super excited about it, and even more so that we have the funding for it through this grant. So a lot of other things coming up. As you know, for summertime, we're getting ready for swim lessons. I do want to let you know that our pool will be closed. We talked a little bit about this before. We will have the dates of closure this Thursday is the day of our pre-conference for construction. And so those are the dates. That's the day we'll find out exactly when the pool will be closed. We have, I believe I've mentioned that we've worked with not only Pioneer Valley High School, but the Allen Hancock College to allow our public to be able to have some swim time. The lap swim is reduced to a half an hour per individual, so we can make sure we can get as many people through there as possible. I don't know about you, but I can't swim for half an hour straight. But they're also waiving the parking cost while they're there at the pool at Allen Hancock. And then we've worked with Pioneer Valley to help host the Santa Maria Swim Club. Again, not as many hours, but we got them as many as we could utilizing our agreement with the high school district. So again, the hope is that we actually are under the time schedule because it does impact our summer programming as well with swim lessons coming up. But it is definitely one of those things that needs to be done. We have the money to do it, and so now is the time to do it. So we will be working with the contractor, us and Public Works, on a regular basis and doing a little prodding to see if they can go any quicker. But just those are the big things as far as programming goes. The new recreation guide is available online in both English and Spanish, so please check it out. It's on the front page of the city website, cityofsantamaria.org, and you'll see that there. And I appreciate, I checked our Facebook page, and we've got some likes and shares already from you guys, so I appreciate that to get the information out there as much as possible. As we talked about before, that article became just cost prohibitive to print, and so this is really our only means besides social media and some smaller advertising to direct people to the website. So please help us continue to share all those programming offerings that we'll be having this summer. And we'll be back to 4 times a year now with that digital rec guide instead of 3 because we don't have to print it. So you'll be seeing an update more often as well. Thank you.
Commissioner Melena, I'm going to go ahead and ask Stephanie to step up to the mic here and kind of give you a little bit of her background so you kind of get to know her a little bit. She has a unique role.
Good evening, Commissioner. Sorry. I was just joking with Dennis how I retired from the YMCA after 13 years of service in the city of Lompoc. I've done 0 to 17 and lots of community work in between. So I am excited to be able to do all the things that I wanted to do in Lompoc, but not having the funding. It's like, I read the SMORE grant and I'm super excited. Nothing shocked me, but it really did excite me that that's an opportunity that I'll be able to wrap my hands around. So if you have any suggestions or just want to talk about the vision of the program, I'm all open ears. And again, it's my second day, but I feel like I've been here forever. Everyone's been so great.
Thanks.
Any questions for Mr. Smeda?
Thank you, Commissioner Melena. I'm going to hand it off to Casey so he can do his introductions while his guys are here. So.
Yes, thank you. So on the note of hiring, we're excited that we've been able to hire 3 new park services officers, AKA city rangers. So I'm just going to ask Corporal Ruben Ramirez, if you don't mind stepping up to the mic, introduce everybody really quick, and then we can answer any questions. And then we're still hoping to get a couple more positions filled soon, but this is 3, and we're very excited to have them. So take it away, Ruben.
Thank you, Casey. Good afternoon, Commissioners. My name is Ruben Ramirez. I'm a Park Services Officer 3. Basically assist Casey with the day-to-day operations, but I'd like to introduce our 3 new hires. Our first new hire is Joshua Palacios. He came from Marion Medical Center. He comes from a security background. Our second hire is Andrew Riddell. He comes from the private sector of security, and he also is a recent graduate from the Allen Hancock Police Academy. And our third new hire is Mark Van Nostren. He previously served with San Luis Obispo County Sheriff's Office for 6 years, so we're really excited to have them here, and they're going to be a big help to us.
Welcome. Thank you. Thank you, Ruben.
Thanks.
Anything else, Casey?
No, not at this time.
Okay, you can go ahead and do your report.
Okay.
Thank you, guys. You're free to hang out or you're free to leave. Okay.
Okay, so yes, just a few things to report. So update-wise, Machado Plaza is weather permitting, progressing. We are awaiting the stage being replaced. There's that new concrete area that unfortunately has some cracks in it. So Public Works has decided rather than continuing to try to fix something that's brand new, they're just going to go ahead and replace it altogether. That's probably the biggest delay that we're going to have in the next month or so. Short of that, though, the electrical is expected to be finished over there in the next 1 to 2 weeks. And then we've just got a few finishing touches on some of the lighting in the parking lots over there. So we're repurposing a couple of the old lights, updating them with some paint, and they'll be ready to go by the time the grand opening is here. We did just purchase about 20 new concrete picnic tables that are going to be expanding the picnic area down at Rodenberger Park. So one of those areas that is in need of some additional capacity and also has some aging equipment down there. I don't know if you've been down there lately, but we've got a lot of barbecue or tables near that barbecue area that are just really starting to show their age. So hoping to get those in the next 6 weeks or so. We also just received 10 new barbecues. They're those custom Santa Maria style barbecues that go up and down. So we'll be replacing a few that are weathered and need it, and then adding to those areas that need some additional capacity. So you'll see some new amenities soon throughout the city, no particular location at this time. We've got the Betaravia medians. In the next 2 weeks, we'll have some new work going in. This will be west of Miller. So really freshening up those medians, and they'll look a little more green, and they'll match sort of the newer stuff that's going in on Betaravia, both at Betaravia Plaza to the west and then also near the Enos project on the east side. Also the Broadway median, so this is north of Main Street. A lot of work recently there, so right now it's kind of empty. You'll see a lot of new plants and trees going in. I think, what did we say, Scott, the next month or so? Maybe less, okay. Again, weather permitting, we don't know about the rains. Vets Park, we have an update there. So right now, phase 1 is currently out to bid. We have the pre-bid meeting on Thursday of this week, so that's coming right up. Bids will be due on April 4, and we're expecting to see groundbreaking sometime late May, early June. If anyone's gone by there recently, you would notice, I think yesterday, that we had the playground removed at that location. It was really showing signs of age and just needed to go. So that's sort of the kickoff of the project. We are excited to see some field lighting that's going to be added very soon. So Crossroads Basin and Adam Basin are slated to have some lights go in. Probably September is what they're talking about there. So looking at some soil testing coming up in the next few weeks, and then from there some foundation design. And really in the fall we should start seeing that get underway. And then of course you know about the North to Joy and North Miller Pocket Park, so nothing really new to report there. As far as park operations go, I'll keep it quick. Obviously, additional storm prep, so making sure we've got sandbags and making sure that the levee gates are closed and the trails around Jim May that are prone to flooding near the spillway are closed. The signs warning people. And then, Scott, is there anything else as far as the storm goes that you feel ought to be reported? I think so far we've been in good shape, but that's assuming you didn't walk in with something I didn't know.
No, I have some sawdust on me, but it was a Caltrans trace.
Okay.
We've been doing really well with our trace in these last rounds of storms. A lot of patrolling to make sure things are okay, but nothing much to report.
Okay, any questions? Yes, Commissioner Lee.
I'm just curious with the inclement weather and obviously by the riverbeds, the homeless people has been displaced. I've noticed out by where I live, I see a lot of homeless people running around trying to find shelter. Can you comment in general what's going on and if there's any problems or?
Well, what I would say is every time we have a new storm event coming in, the rangers are good to go out and patrol the area, make contact with as many people that are out there as they can. They'll provide information on the warming centers that are going to be open. So this last round, we had Atkinson Park Community Center that was open, and really encourage people to go. And that's in conjunction with posting signs out there and then also closing those gates so that we can hopefully prevent new people from going in, especially when things are starting to surge. So it's one of those things where we can encourage people and, you know, really try and get the message out there. Obviously, that North Bluff Line area, it's a little bit difficult to access because you've got water flowing even before the storm. But to the extent we're able to get the information out, we really encourage people to leave that area because we just don't know, between water being released from the Twitchell area and then also just the uncertainty of how much rain is going to fall, things could get, you know, bad at any moment. So we really don't want people in that area.
The sheriff's office does a flyover and does announcements too to remind people. Yeah. And that's an important way to get the message out. Again, it's getting people to heed the warning is one thing. You know, we can provide the warning, but getting them to heed it is another.
Any other questions?
There are a lot of empty shopping carts on the levee right now. People left their stuff. It's kind of sad.
Yeah, we'll make sure to get those
Oh, I
picked
know.
up, but you're right. And
It's just,
yeah, we've noticed that around, you know, especially areas where people have been coming and going, they just sort of leave things there. So getting picked up as quickly as we can. Thank you.
Thanks, Casey.
Moving right along.
So from director's report, I don't really have a whole heck of a lot to talk about today. There were a few things going on in the department, so you know, we're staying busy. The storm obviously keeps us busy. I think there's a lot of opportunities for damage around the city. I'll tell you that we've had, Commissioner Melena and I were talking about this before, a lot of rain damage and leaky roofs around the city. You know, I'm sure like anybody else, you know, nobody really paid attention to the roofs for the last 6 years because there was a drought, so it really didn't matter. But we've had a few leaky roofs around. We've had to move staff from the new rec office over behind the senior center back to sometimes their old offices, sometimes some were at the library for a while, some at the youth center, because the roofs had leaked. So that happened at that building and then also at the aquatic center office space. So, you know, that's kind of difficult to deal with just because we have people spread out all over town again. Other than that, from the office perspective, you know, things are running okay right now. We have a lot of opportunities coming up, as Dennis mentioned, for programs over the springtime and into the summer. We encourage you all to keep abreast of things. If you'd like to go out, you know, on a tour, see some of the facilities, maybe Scott can take you out, show you some of the district areas. The Rangers can take you out, show you some of the stuff that they do. You know, we're open to try to get you as much information and education as we can. You know, just let us know what it is you'd like to participate in. I believe that's pretty much it. Dennis, did you have anything on rec division other than what was in noteworthies?
Thank you. I did jump the gun. Sorry about that. No, that's my report for today.
Okay. Yeah, you know, hopefully for your April meeting, so the park conference is in April. So your April meeting is scheduled for that Tuesday. So we will probably cancel that meeting because of the conference. Some people will be leaving Monday. Some people will be leaving Tuesday. So it will be there for the week. So at this point, it's Commissioner Lee, Commissioner Batterson, and Commissioner Carey are scheduled to go from the commission. And we have, how many staff members? Brittany, four staff members attending. There'll be a good Santa Maria contingent there. We will be, I believe, we're featured in the trade show. We'll have a piece of equipment in there that we purchased from our vendor that will be, have it there to see so you guys can take a look at it. We'll get more information to you as that date gets a little bit closer and, you know, meet up, tell you where, I guess you all know where your hotels are or will know. Brittany will tell you everything because that's her strength, her power is to get everybody's information out. Yeah, other than that, I really don't have anything else.
Thank you. Move on now to our commissioner reports. We'll start with Commissioner Lopez.
I have nothing. No comments.
Me? I have a few things. February 21st, we had the tree committee. February 22nd was the Buena Vista beautifiers, and they're going to do a day in the park at Buena Vista Park. I believe it's in August. And so there's a lot of stuff going on with that, I'm sure. Oh, Scott was actually at that meeting as well. So he's got to help as well, I'm thinking. Let's see. Sorry, March 4th was a board meeting for the California Association of Recreation and Parks people that I'm a part of. And it's kind of a funny time to be within that group. They're considering disbanding and joining with what's our CRPS or CPRS. And so there's a whole lot going on with that right now. It's interesting though. I think that's basically it. I have a couple of questions though about the new path on Stoll, right? It's not Stoll. I wrote Stoll. Battles, thank you. The new path on Battles. Okay, so I noticed there's power lines there. Are we going to be able to put trees?
Yes, thank you, Commissioner Carey. We have looked at that design and we've been meeting regularly with the architect and we're going to a potted tree situation, not only for the power lines overhead, but for the oil and high pressure gas lines below. So it will help, mitigate that issue that we have with any potential power line tree issues as well as explosions.
That's it.
Well, in February, I attended the city employee awards, and that, if you ever get a chance to attend it, it's really nice to see the employees of our Rec and Parks Department get recognition and how many years some of them have put in, and it's just a very nice event to go to. And then other than that, was the tree committee, and Scott gave us an update. They planted 220 15-gallon trees last month, and 64 of the 24-gallon box trees. So gradually making a dent in adding trees. And, and then we were also just given information on the analysis that the company has been doing to
Carry out our grant.
yeah, so we can put a plan into effect as to what's going to be happening for how many trees we want to see overall is part of the, we have a long ways to go.
We do.
Yeah.
Thank you. I just have a few things here that I'm working with the Cody Arjona family on the Challenger League and the donations for a ramp at Seamus Field to handicap. We're looking into that. Moving right along with some donations for the cement, wood for the engineer architects and all that stuff to bring to the city, and we can make a handicap ramp accessible at Seamus Field, so we can have a Challenger program there. The other one was, I attended Mr. Eddie Navarro's Abel Maldonado Center, his baseball history, and I don't know if anybody else attended, but that whole gymnasium was filled with the history of all our cultures, Japanese, Mexican American, Italians, Portuguese, our whole community of baseball history in this area. And it was pretty sad that it was, not too many people attended. He was hoping that they would get a lot of little leagues and everybody would come out. And he was a little disappointed at the turnout that he got there by the community. And we talked about having him go mobile and taking it to the programs, taking it to the leagues. And if he can somehow come up with a plan to get it mobile, and he can get he could share it with not only Santa Maria, but Orchid, because everybody in his community is part of that program. So he's preserving their reputations and their families' history here in the community, okay? So Mr. Eddie Navarro will be working on that one. The Little Leagues have approached a little upset about their intermediate field. They're into an intermediate area. They want to do a 50-70 field somewhere in the city of Santa Maria. So we've had some issues with that one. So hopefully we can find a solution for that. Youth football has approached with their portable posts now that they're trying to get, so they can use other facilities, so they can have a football stadium in one of our basins when football season comes. So they're looking at that program too. So looking for donations on that one too. So working on a few community outreach. Is that our community? Huh? So anyway, that's about it. Thank you. And with that,
to dovetail on the cultural aspect, since I go to Costco a lot, I've noticed the progress with the house across the street. Alex, can you give everyone an overview as to what's going on with that? Is it in the community
Yes.
cultural center?
Yes, so the Public Works Department will be going out to bid at the end of the month, first part of next month, for the development of the grounds and the community center part of the project. And that'll consist of the parking lot, building the pad for the community center, and following that, then there'll be the landscaping for the site. Finishing off the house is an alternative that's down the road. We're trying to see how much money we have left. For the house itself, what you will see is that all the detail work, there was a lot of woodworking, a lot of I don't know, spindles for railings and those kinds of things. All that will be done, and then the house will be painted. And then at that point, the house will pretty much remain in the condition that it is right now. And then construction will start all around it in the community center. We're expecting probably to kick construction off the end of summer sometime, maybe sooner. It really depends on how the bids come back. We did receive a $500,000 allocation from the Department of Housing and Urban Development. That was an earmark from Congressman Carvajal's office. So we were included in the 23 federal budget for that. There's some feelers out there for some other funding. So the project's going to move forward. It has an allocation in the city budget, so it'll be moving forward this year.
I'm just curious, is there any group that's currently working on perhaps a grand opening or a series of celebrations? You know, hearing about Navarro, what's his name? Eddie Navarro, a program like that. I just met a young lady, 93-year-old young lady in the community, Japanese American, and she started a group monthly meeting for people to encourage people to write memoirs. So she read a beautiful paper about her experience in the Japanese American, the 9066 concentration camps when she was 12 years old. Something like that, a series of speakers and celebrations.
Yeah, the Japanese Community Center, Inc. is the nonprofit that's the partner with the city on the project. And it's their membership that will be organizing the grand opening. I'm sure we'll support it, but they're also the ones that are going to be doing the sponsorship outreach for, additional furnishings and artwork and things that they want to do there. Reaching out to the families of the Japanese community that want to, the lobby, as I think I mentioned in the past, has a large display area, and trying to get families to bring some of their family heirlooms to display as part of the ongoing cultural education for the Japanese community. So yes, they're
Do we
very.
have a recreation department staff member who's a liaison with that group?
Dennis is that person right now.
Okay.
Yes.
I would like to be involved, if it's possible. At least be introduced to them.
Yeah, they meet occasionally in our.
Maybe every 5 or 6 weeks. They're working on an art project right now that's going to tell the history. We're really excited. We've seen concepts. It's going to be a beautiful piece as you walk into the facility. It's going to be hanging and metallic, and really tell the whole story of the Japanese culture here in the valley, and how agriculture was really started by that community. So I see them on a regular basis, but as we move forward more with the building and getting a date of opening, we'll work more on the grand opening, and they're really gung-ho to get this open as well. So I'll let you know about dates and give you the introduction. Hopefully, I think it's going to be in 3 or 4 more weeks before I see him again, but soon.
Okay. I was given a journal. There was an estate sale for the Minamis, and one of my friends who go to estate sales happened to just purchase this journal because she thought, wow, this should belong to Santa Maria and shared with everyone. So she gave it to me because she knew that I was involved. So I'm looking forward to, getting involved. Thank you.
Brittany, do you know what hotel we're staying at in San Diego?